Welcome back to the CA Men's Basketball Insider, and we're fortunate as always to spend some time with one of the preeminent voices in college basketball, John Fanta. John, how are you today?
Rob Washburn, it is great to be with you. It's wonderful to be talking college hoops. And in the Coastal Athletic Association, I'm just so intrigued. I think that this is a league that has parity, that has improved programs from the middle last year or even the back end last year that have gotten better, some of which significantly better. And you still have the teams at the top that we've become accustomed to seeing doing big time things. This is a fun league. It's a terrific time of year, my friend, because we are on that road to March.
Yeah, we are, John. The month of January now coming to an end, and what a race we have going on with just two games separating the top six teams in the standings. Let's take a look at a couple of those teams that made some big statements last week. Let's start with UNCW, which put together a 3-0 week, included a win over previously unbeaten William and Mary, followed by that road victory at Charleston, and then a 20-point win over Hampton. What are the Seahawks doing so well?
Well, it's interesting because Takeo Siddle talks about toughness and defending, and UNCW they're fully capable of that. But I think what's interesting about this team right now is they've reached 80 points in each of the last four games. So they're really scoring the basketball at an efficient rate. And I thought that the win at Charleston, to win at Charleston 85-83, and Takeo Siddle's only lost once in road games at Charleston. That's saying something. And what did they do in that game? Well, they've got one of the best duos in the league. Bo Montgomery has been fantastic for this UNCW team. He had 18 points in that win over Charleston. I thought, again, he got to his spots well. The 6'5" guard, he's a transfer from Holy Cross. He's got 4 years of college experience underneath his belt. Donovan Newby, Takeo Siddle told me in the fall, he's so poised to be a leader. He's poised to be that type of a guy. And others stepped up. You have to have complementary pieces. And I thought the FDU transfer, Sean Moore, who, for those who don't know, the junkies can appreciate this, Sean Moore was at FDU when FDU beat Purdue in the NCAA tournament. What does that mean? He's comfortable in a big game. And he came up big in addition to Montgomery and Newby. So for this Seahawks team, I think it's their ability to fly, their ability to, no pun intended, or maybe, because they can really, the offense can get going in a hurry, Rob. And it's not just a one-off. You score 80 plus in 4 straight games. I like the depth of this team. I think Kamari McGriff against Hampton, I loved his performance. 19 points, 8 of 12 from the floor in that one. Harlan Obioha helps this team quite a bit as well. A couple of blocks for him in that win. Takeo Siddle's team is doing it in different ways in terms of who their alpha is at a period of time in a game. But right now, the Seahawks are scoring at a very high level.
Let's stay in North Carolina. I want to get your breakdown on Campbell because the Campbells go to Long Island, pull off the sweep. They shoot 57% in a 25-point win at Stony Brook, then rally from an 18-point deficit to knock off Hofstra in overtime last Saturday. So Campbell's now 5-3, right in the mix. What have you seen from them?
Grit and resilience, and the fact that you sweep the Long Island trip. Rob, you've been around this league long enough to know, not easy to do. Whether you're going down south for the weekend or going up north for the weekend, it's hard to stay focused. It's hard to stay in the fight. This is a league of really strong coaches, and a couple of programs made some changes in the offseason, and I think their hires are showing early on what they're capable of. Kevin McGeehan, to me, when Campbell was added to the CAA, I instantly thought of Coach McGeehan and the job he does there, because I think his teams play hard and they fight. If you go to Hofstra and you fall behind, you could be done for. Think about this. They're down 36-20 at the half. Rob, you and I would have said, let's go out, all right. If we're a Hofstra fan, we're saying, hey, we got it in hand. Because most times the Pride do at home. Tremendous comeback, tremendous second half. Kobe Dugan was fantastic in this game with 23 points. Nolan Dorsey added 22. That duo gives you a combined 45 points. And Jason Sinani, he hits 4 threes, and in the second half really turned it up. It was a really strong performance by the Camel Fighting Camels. And for Sinani to give them 11 of their 30 rebounds in this game, they held the turnovers up in the second half. They didn't turn the ball over as much. And they turned over Hofstra. They made Cruz Davis's life tougher. And Gina Rangarin has had a really nice year, but I thought that Campbell said, you know what, if he's the one beating us, let's cut off the other pieces. Shout out to Michael Graham, because even in a loss, I do want to shout him out for Hofstra. He had 21 rebounds in the game. Campbell as a team had 30. Amazing to think Campbell won this game with a player on the other side that had 21 rebounds in a game. But that speaks to Campbell's identity. And what they did is they found enough shot making. You had a couple of clutch plays in overtime down the stretch for the Fighting Camels, and Dugan, he made the game deciding bucket. It's a big time win for them. Campbell's got momentum. I can't wait to get down there a week from Monday. We're there on February 10th on CBS Sports Network. I look forward to it.
We wrap up, John, with a look ahead at the schedule and some tough tests for the teams at the top. As you mentioned, William & Mary visits Campbell on Thursday before hosting Charleston on Monday night in a game you're going to call on CBS Sports Network. And then Towson takes that 6-game winning streak into matchups against a pair of longtime rivals in Delaware and Drexel. What do you see in those games for those teams at the top?
Looking at Towson to win 6 in a row and be 7-1 in the CA, congratulations to Pat Scarry and his team. What are they doing? They're rebounding the basketball relentlessly. And I just think Tyler Tejada has become one of the best players in this conference. He's been fantastic. Dylan Williamson gave them a spark in that win on Monday night over Northeastern. Now you head to Delaware. Well, if you're going to beat Delaware, you better know where John Camden is at all times. He's having a very nice year for the Blue Hens. He's averaging 17 points per game. And Niles Lane's given them a lot of production as well. Towson's defense and rebounding, they got to travel. Then you come back Saturday, you're at home to Drexel. Now, let's talk about the Dragons for a moment. I think Zach Spiker's team still has their best basketball in front of them. They're 4-4 in the league. They are. They know they've got work in front of them. You know, when you look at this Drexel team, they beat Delaware by 13 this past Saturday. Now you go to Monmouth. Rob, if you're going to start turn a corner, you got to find a way to win on the road. And look, Monmouth, as much as they had a tough non-conference season, if you're going to win there, then you have to, and I mean have to, defensively find an answer for one of the best bucket getters you're going to find in Abdi Bashir. But I think it's an important weekend for Drexel because from there they go to Towson. So Drexel, their defense is going to be fine. Their defense is always really good. It's just a matter of three-point shot making. You know, look at Towson. They haven't lost this year when they make at least 10 threes. And I think you'd be able to say a similar thing about Drexel. So it's an interesting weekend in that regard in this league. And I think Saturday night's matchup on CBS Sports Network should be very interesting because it's two teams that anytime they play, it's going to be a rock fight. It could be a 1-60 type game, but it's high-level basketball, two really well-coached teams that run good stuff. So I think it's an interesting weekend in this conference because for Towson, now you go to Delaware, they're a feisty team. How about William & Mary heading to Campbell? You know, we haven't talked about William & Mary. I'll cap it with this. I love what Brian Earl's done. But for William & Mary, can you sustain? It's hard in this league to now be the hunted. They're going to Campbell. You know what Coach McGeehan's saying? Fellas, the team that's been at the top of this league is coming to our building. We have to be ready for that. And if you're going to be ready for William & Mary, you can't get into a track meet with them because Gabe Dorsey, Noah Collier, Matthias Case, Chase Lowe, Keller Boothby, who's helped them quite a bit, they got balance, and they can attack you in different ways. Really intrigued to see how the Tribe handle this upcoming swing. Monday night, Rob, William & Mary hosting Charleston, Williamsburg. I'm excited to see you have what I'm told is going to be a really nice crowd and the energy in that building. I know that there's a renaissance right now of William & Mary basketball. Big upcoming weekend for the Tribe.
John, thanks as always for your time and the great breakdown. And as always, make sure to follow us at CA Basketball on all of our social media.